Hello, teachers and friends. Today, I am going to present a Japanese book called Kafka on the Shore by Murakami. I am Jirachaya Rodkaew. Alright, let's get started. In this slide, you can see that the name of the book is Kafka on the Shore. Kafka is from the protagonist of this book, and he named it by borrowing his favorite writer name, which is Frank Kafka. It hints at the concept of a story that will combine elements of realism with the fantasy and whose protagonists are isolated individuals dealing with alienation and guilt like in Kafka novels. It is interesting to note that Kafka on the Shore also abounds with fantastical elements such as talking catfish falling from the sky, a portal to another dimension, and so on. The novel's main character is a loner searching for gold in life as well. Alright, next is synopsis. Kafka on the Shore explores the parallel narrative between two protagonists, a 15-year-old Kafka Tamura who runs away from home to escape the Oedipus curse prophesied by his father, and another protagonist, Satoru Nakata, an old man who cannot read and write due to past accidents occurring during the World War II period, but gained the ability to talk with cats. The two protagonists never encounter and are narrated individually, but inevitably intertwine and will terminate at the same end. And the end of the novel will reveal the fantastic and astonishing ending. The book incorporates themes of music, philosophies, metaphysics, dreams, fate, and the subconscious. And this is the characters of this book. The first one is Kafka Tamura, a 15-year-old runaway, Satoru Tanaka, a 60-year-old man who is illiterate but can talk to cats, Oshima, a library manager, Misayaki, a library owner, Hoshino, a truck driver, and Sakura, a girl on the bus. For the genre of this novel, I consider it to be mixed genre, which is fantasy, magical realism, and coming of age. Magical realism is evidently expressed in the novel. Magical realism is when there are strange, unbelievable incidents invading and occurring in the realistic setting. Murakami's Kafka on the Shore occurs in our world, our reality, but it contains elements that simply cannot take place, such as the other world, the traveling of our subconsciousness, the incident of raining fish from the sky, and the ability to talk to cats of Nakata. And the journey of Kafka also reflects the coming of age, in which at the end he finds what he searched for and becomes a new person. Next is grand narrative. I divided the grand narrative into three for the presentation. The first one is psychoanalysis. The book explores the mental condition of the characters. For example, Kafka Tamura, the protagonist, who ran away from home to escape his Oedipus curse by his father. But the quest he takes led him to encounter his mental complex, and he will eventually recover from it and find a peaceful life. Next is metaphysics. Kafka on the Shore shares metaphysical themes which explore the philosophy of the nature of existence. It seems highly abstract and subtle. Also, it borrows the real-world figures to represent or send some messages to the reader, such as Colonel Sanders and Johnny Walker. Social and political issues. The story of young Nakata, who was injured by a mysterious incident and fell into unconscious, and lost the ability to read and write during the World War II period. According to his teacher and local doctor interview, they noticed the B-29 in the sky, which is the plane used for bombing, before the incident happened. It can be implied that the author used this to be a suffering reminiscence of Japan during World War II. Next is narrative experimentation. This novel used non-linear narrative, which narrate by using parallel narrative during the journey of Kafka and interrupted by the interview during World War II between U.S. Army and Japanese. Next is gender and sexuality. This novel approached sexual identity, as can see from the LGBT character who challenged feminism, which is Oshima. In the novel, the author challenged the feminist movement by creating a character that is sexual complex, which is Oshima. Oshima is born female but does not look like a female at all. He has female private but not using it for sexual intercourse, and yet he describes himself as gay because he likes men. As can be seen in the chapter when there are two feminists visiting the library and arguing against his belief because she thinks Oshima is a male, but he counterattacks by revealing that he is born female. Next is metafiction. This novel is rich with intertextuality, pastiche, parody, and pop culture. The first obvious one is Oedipus complex. Sigmund Freud, Oedipus complex, which is the psychoanalytic theory, designed for sexual involvement with the parent of opposite sex, and a concomitant sense of rivalry with the parent of the same sex. The novel does not clearly mention the name of Sigmund Freud or Oedipus complex, but Oedipus complex theme is evidently used to convey the narration and reflect to the protagonist, Kafka and his deed to overcome disgust caused by his father. The next is the tale of Genji. The Tale of Genji is considered to be the first real novel and classical work of Japanese literature. It recounts the romantic life of Hiraku Genji. This novel was used to reflect the vengeful syphilis of Lady Rokujo, which left her body to kill her love enemy. This can be linked to Kafka, in which his spirit left his body and used Nakata's body as a container to murder his father. And the next one is Warden Theme. The chapter that narrates Kafka living away from civilization at a cabin near the forest reflects the theme of warden of sorrow. Kafka's living with nature helps calm his mind and overcome his conflict over the case, like the warden's nest, soul searching. Next is parody in pop culture. In the story, Colonel Sanya was used as a pimp to offer a philosophical student who worked as a prostitute to Hoshino. It can be implied to capitalism and the low work that contradict the character. And Johnny Walker, a Scotch whiskey brand, was used to be a cat killer who collected a cat soul to make the fruit that can dominate the world and the universe. Next is music. Music. This novel features a lot of music, and I choose the classical music of Beethoven and Trio to present because this music influenced Hoshino to love classical music and helped him to be a new person and successfully held Nakata to the end. Next one is film. The French film, directed by Francois Truffaut, recounts a boy who has parental problem and runaways from home and school. This boy learns about life by reading The Quest of the Absolute by Balzac. This movie reflects the quest of Kafka and was mentioned by two characters, which is Kafka and Hoshino. And then last film is Sound of Music. This novel features a lot of music as well as types of music. The movie The Sound of Music was mentioned in the book to reflect how important the role of music plays in this book. And the last message. The importance of self-overcoming is the theme of this book. This novel explores the psychological state of all the characters, the complexity of it and how each character overcomes it, featured by music, philosophical, and countless intertextualities that I can't mention in the 10 minutes presentation. There are many interesting and spellbinding parts to explore. This book is on the must-read list if you want to take a quest to a new hidden horizon that you cannot expect at all.